can never hear from John McDonald. These bars are off.
What's up, everybody?
Free from their debts, no longer will we allow them to control our lives and poison our planet with their greed and corruption, manipulating us.
So, we're going to listen to this video, and then at the end, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, if you want to stick around for it. I got a few interesting things to say, and I'm probably going to pull up some references to add to this video. So this video will probably go up sometime next week. But this shit's amazing. This is Anonymous when they was at their prime. And at the time, I think Donald Trump was in office. No, he wasn't. I don't think he was in office. 7 years ago? Holy shit. Okay. So, I guess Donald Trump was in office 7 years ago. Maybe? I don't know. I don't feel like doing the math right now. I've been up for too long. I'm tired. Anyway, this is going to be good. There's a handful of there's a couple references to Immortal Technique. I don't know if we're going to try to go through some of the references that we see in the mural and stuff as to what it could be. But for now, let's just watch it because this is a pretty badass music video.
Pulling our strings behind the scenes as they built their criminal empire on the back of hardworking people like each of you. They seduced us with advertisements for a life we could never afford, poisoned our bodies with junk food, and distracted our minds with pointless entertainment, all the while happily lending us money to push us further into their debt.
Yeah. I can guarantee you that when I die, there ain't gonna be a clone. I'm the only real one when I'm in the zone. I know they wanna catch me when I'm all alone, and I'm cool with that. I'm used to having to hold my own. Yeah, the skills and the rhymes and the raps are built for combat. I'm here to take the children's minds back from the television and the villainous mind traps and the criminals and the military complex. Yeah, cause the TV got a mouth on it. So watch your kids when they get hit from the sound from it. And the internet when they playing around on it. The technology is how they are surrounding us. Cybernetic tentacles, metal flesh, metallic tendrils, subliminal sexual messages sent through your mentals, experimental test tubes and genetic vessels. Yeah, they're looking down upon us from the minors. They want us traumatized from the drama. We not gon' stop, we ride like marauders. It's hard to find us, we camouflage in the collage of mirages. Robotic armored cars have come to bomb us. This goes beyond anonymous and as large as goddess. We've got piranhas in our waters. Yeah. Look at the corporate folk, they slide a bill under your nose without snorting coke. You think your shit won't sink because you float your votes? Well, bye-bye, motherfucker, row your boat. Yeah. Now when you listen, these psychopaths want us to bow when they sin. I'm loud when I'm spitting, my mouth is a weapon. So when I bust rounds, look down when I'm ripping. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. The second they stabbing, we rapping the Second Amendment. The weapons are kept for defensive protection. They sent to these devils, these federal henchmen are getting aggressive. They just wanna stress us, so that when we flip out, they can come and get us. And they make us get down, so they put on pressure. And they wanna test to measure our threshold. They don't want us to get loud, it's another risk now. But we've learned to chance it. This shit is too real, so fuck the circumstances. Motherfuckers wanna come and murk your families. Who give a damn till your blood is squirt on canvas? Don't trust the news for answers. Your loved ones getting crushed and hurt and damaged. A motherfucker still jump in front of cameras. Busting guts, get a mustard murder sandwich. And if you white, you a problem. And if you black, you a target. And if you rap, you a monster. And if you speaking the facts, motherfuckers come catch you, you a martyr. In this game of chess, see there's rules. Look at the board, see the chess pieces move. Before they figure out what chess piece they use, you gotta figure out what chess piece are you. So don't be fooled by the mind control from Zionists generated by these cartels. They don't wanna separate us, they just wanna manipulate us into separating ourselves. It's a dark spell, and it can't be unspoken, it must be broken. All this gun control and all these puppet shows, man, I ain't trusting no one. Better duck, here comes another explosion. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. Now this may be irrelevant to you, but even the most intelligent of Jews.
Listen very carefully to this part.
Jews will address the elephant. Most intelligent of Jews will address. Now this may be irrelevant to you, but even the most intelligent of Jews will address the elephant that's in the room. Cause how much can a pelican consume? See, a Jew isn't a Zionist, but a Zionist could be a Jew. You see, they like to fuse the ideas of the two to confuse you and the minds of the Jews, so they fight for these ghouls. You should know by now I'm talking about the Rothschilders, and they're using Israel as a Rottweiler. These killers are cold, man, like some crocodile blood. They don't really give a damn or a fuck about us. Look at the guys that strip, they popping clips, taking shots at kids, dropping bombs and shit on a populace with rocks and sticks. They locked in a grid, looking like a Nazi pit. Yeah. From Al-Qaeda to ISIS, who you think's creating them, training them and paying them? You better check the nation that you stationed in, who sees making favors and see who donates to them. It's a big game, ain't it? Matter of fact, it's a big shame, ain't it? It's a situation they don't want to have to play with, even when a kid is getting decapitated. Peace to Syria, the Middle East, American bloodbath has reached hysteria. We breached the barrier, we must act while the freedom of speech is still hearing us, and the media just keeps burying up facts. Over and over again, we've seen it before and we heard it's the same thing. That's why I say fuck this system, and let's murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream. I ain't a killer, but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream.
Look, man. Okay, so I got a few things that I want to go over, and I want to bring this shit up. One, obviously, these guys were inspired by Immoral Technique and Illuminati, because Illuminati in the background is on the guy's hat. Illuminati is a rapper who's against the corporations and major establishments, who raps. Actually, his stance on secret societies is that they are not fictional, but at the same time they are fictional, to give corporations a scapegoat as which I guess you could say that does work, but he's also wrong, because these secret societies are real, and that kind of plays into the hands of both of them, really, because you see, one thing, psychological warfare. So what they want to do is they want to confuse you as much as humanly possible, and by doing that, what's the easiest way to do that? The easiest way to do that is to not give you a clear side, of good. You see, this kind of thing would usually confuse the truth seekers, because the truth seekers are endlessly looking for the right side to join, the ones who want to know exactly what's truly going on, so they can figure out in their head how evil can be stopped. Well, it's kind of difficult to do that when, let's just say, for example, in a movie, you write multiple different characters with anyway. Immortal Technique is another rapper that comes out of New York and was rapping about this kind of stuff. And they did use this. They did use rappers like this to create Antifa. They really used them to create the push for Antifa. They did. In fact, a lot of Anonymous's members converted to Antifa. And Anonymous actually at one point issued threats against Antifa and actually attempted to take down multiple of their websites and shit because they're a communist group. So they were going after our constitutional rights and all that shit. And, of course, they had help from the establishment. Yeah, former members of what was Anonymous became Antifa and were now fighting for the government and their censorship. Well, see, here's the thing. They weren't fighting for the government. They were fighting for equal rights. That's how they get you, though. See, they know you're not going to fight for them. They know you're not going to fight for them. So they make something else important to you, such as the rainbow flag. They made it important to them. They made it important to them. And they're like, well, we'll be on your side if you come and join us, which is pretty much what they fucking did. And they fucking won them over. Now you have the states protecting them. And they're so fucking inside of a closed-in room that they don't realize in their mind that they don't realize that they're being manipulated. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anonymous used to be a really powerful and good, I want to say organization, but they weren't an organization, they were a movement. And, a lot of them did fucked up shit. They were hackers. A lot of them did fucked up shit. Some of them just like to fucking troll people. But a lot of them did do a decent amount of good. Like they went after fucking corrupt government sites. They went after the ADL. They went after the government. They went after 2 different presidents. I don't know. They did go after Donald Trump, but personally, if you like Donald Trump, whatever. I'd say he's a better candidate than the guy before, obviously, because that motherfucker's in office now out. But I'm still on the fence about him. I have my reservations. They did go after Donald Trump, but I don't know if they really succeeded in doing anything because, as I stated before, they don't really have the power they used to. And their YouTube page and stuff and isn't really run by them anymore. It's kind of run by low-key Antifa. So you don't really see them operating a whole lot anymore. Not out in the open. So but Immortal Technique kind of led to the uprising. And yeah, so did Illuminati. So indirectly, it kind of makes you think that they may have been planted there. Or maybe they weren't planted there and there was an uprising coming from the left against the system. and they quickly scrambled to divert it. Oh, well, we'll turn it inward at the country instead of us, which isn't really too far-fetched to believe. So, instead of them burning down our rich billion-dollar houses, let's turn them against the people that we hate. We'll turn them against the local population. Sounds like a good idea. At least that's what I see. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments if you have any ideas about this. I'm gonna listen to some more of this guy's stuff. And I know you heard that one part. I know you heard it. So we're gonna move back to it.
At the Gaza Strip, they popping clips, taking shots at kids, dropping bombs and shit on a populace. Who you think's creating them, training them, and paying to them? It's a big kid is getting decapitated. Peace area, we preach the over and over again. We've seen them. It's the same thing. That's
Murder the mainstream,
I ain't a killer,
but I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream.
I ain't a killer,
But I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream.
I ain't a killer,
But I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream.
I ain't a killer,
But I murder the mainstream. Murder the mainstream.
even to see who donates to them. It's a when the minds of the Jews, so they fight for these schools. You should know by now, I ain't a killer,
But I murder the mainstream. Murder.
And listen to this part real quick, because this man is really making some real headway here. Make it very clear. He's got a fucking point.
Now this may be irrelevant to you, but even the most intelligent of Jews will address the elephant that's in the room. Cause how much can a pelican consume? See, a Jew isn't a Zionist, but a Zionist could be a Jew. You see, they like to fuse the ideas of the two to confuse you and the minds of the Jews, so they fight for these ghouls. You should know by now I'm talking about the Rothschilds, and they're using Israel as a Rottweiler. These killers are cold, man, like some crocodile blood.
What did Rockefeller? What did John D. Rockefeller create? I'll post some of the stuff because he created quite a few things that let's just say became pretty destructive to the fucking world, and that's who he's talking about. In what I would say in the words of Rabbi Wise, but instead I'm just gonna insert a clip right here.
Jews. It's being done in our name. We have to stand up and yell. It's not anti-Semitism to be against Zionism. On the contrary, we are attacked. Even when I went out in New York, so my car tires were slashed, the windows, the mirrors broken, and so forth. But we don't care. We're going out anyway. Wherever there is a large Jewish community, wherever there's a very religious Jewish community, even if it's not large, they will be in opposition to the existence of the Zionist state of Israel because it is antithetical to Judaism. Zionism is a movement that started around 150 years ago. That's just really recently, relatively recently. And it's a movement of people who were totally estranged from the Jewish religion. They were nationalists. They weren't practicing the religion as a whole. And they wanted just a convenient community, a land, a nation that they should feel comfortable and proud of themselves. The Jews never attempted, even though we went through hardships, the Inquisition, the Crusades, and we suffered a lot, but we never attempted to reestablish a Jewish sovereignty, a Jewish nationhood, a Jewish kingdom, because we know it's verboten, it's forbidden, it's just not acceptable according to Judaism to have our own state. Remember, the religion is 3,000 years ago. But 2,000 years ago, we were sent into exile by God. We have to be loyal citizens in every country we reside. And we're not to attempt to leave exile because it's a godly declared exile. Jews lived with a distinctly different religion than the Muslims, but it was never a problem. In fact, it's more than that. The Muslims took in the Jews by the Inquisition, where they tried to torture Jews to convert to Christianity. It was the Muslim countries that embraced the Jews and took them in, and the Jews were able to flourish. They realized in order to get a lot of massive support from the world, evangelistic Christians, Jews who don't know the Torah, don't know their laws, who don't practice the laws. So they knew they'll go to Palestine and they'll be able to tell everybody, oh, this is the God-given land to the Jewish people. They automatically started breaching and transgressing the laws of the Torah, not to kill and not to steal, not to oppress a people, because they wanted to make their national home in a land that was inhabited by the Palestinian people. Now, right at the beginning, when they said, oh, it's an empty land. And if anybody stood up against them, they said, because you hate the Jews and you're an anti-Semite. They treat us like the worst terrorists in the world. When a boy or girl turns 17, they become a criminal, even if they're not demonstrating, because we refuse to serve in the IDF. They yell at me as a Holocaust denier when my grandparents were killed in Auschwitz. My father escaped Hungary when the Nazis came in. My father was in Auschwitz. Almost the entire families were wiped out. I live and breathe Holocaust. How dare they claim that we're Holocaust deniers? But that's just part of that, the vile Zionism, that they have the power of the most expensive PR and the power of AIPAC that influences, put pressure on politicians to be silent. That is what they're afraid of. The people who stand up and reveal the truth, that Judaism is a beautiful, and we live together with Muslims, and we are thankful to Muslims, and we don't want what's happening to the Palestinians. We cry with the Palestinian suffering. That is what they're afraid of. The world will wake up